Hello and welcome to the Chair Reviews, another edition. This session, I've got quite a few films to cover, so I'll crack on after this. Right, the first thing I want to do is to cover up a mistake that I made. I did a very bad review of Lawrence of Arabia, but I've deleted it, so don't worry, you're going to get a better one this time. What I'm going to do, instead of just reviewing that film, because I've watched all three within a month, is do a bit of a David Lean review, the late David Lean review. I'm going to start off with what I consider to be the worst of the three, which is Dr. Zhivago, of the three that I'm going to do. Dr. Zhivago, from Boris Pasternak's famous Russian novel about a doctor in the Russian Revolution who falls in love with someone he ought not to. And it's kind of about their romance, but with all the events of the Russian Revolution going on around them. Very famous novel. It's a very famous film, actually. The first time I watched this, I really wasn't that much enamoured. I thought the romance took centre stage to such an extent that it made it a pretty boring film. Looked amazing, but a pretty boring film. I watched it just the other night. It's a lot better than that. It still doesn't make it into one of my best films ever made, but it is a terrific film. The cinematography is better than good. It's fantastic. The scenes of Siberia, the trip to the Urals on the train, absolutely amazing. The central love story wasn't quite so overbearing as I'd first thought. I mean, it's there. It's the main point of the thing. He falls in love with a girl. They kind of disappear together. Not really giving that much away. That happens about halfway through. But a lot of the story is about the Russian Revolution and how those events, how there's a loss of humanity in Russia around that time. It's excellent. There's a scene where the train is coming across the Siberian plains and the sun is just setting in the background and a lamp comes on the train. It's just beautiful. Like, really worth it for that shot alone. There's a lot of good acting in there. Ralph Richardson's great. Who's the guy? The German guy. Klaus Kinski, excellent as a really angry prisoner on the train that they're on. Geraldine Chaplin, Charlie Chaplin's granddaughter, she's excellent. The whole thing's really, really good, and it is a worthwhile picture about the Russian Revolution. There's probably better ones. You could watch Battleship Potemkin if you like. That's about one revolution before the whole thing, but it is worthwhile. It's worth watching. It's not the best film ever made. If you're I'm a bit of a romantic, actually. If you're a lady romantic, maybe it's a bit would be higher on your list, but it's a good film. Anyway, next one, Lawrence of Arabia, as discussed. This, in my last review, I just didn't really tell you what the story was. It's about T.E. Lawrence, who was a British officer in the First World War, who went over to Arabia he went there to assess the Arab situation, but what he ended up doing was rallying the Arabs into a makeshift fighting force. Makeshift's a bit harsh. Into a fighting force that really played havoc with the Turks' plans in Saudi Arabia. It's epic. It's just brilliant. The music is amazing, as is in Dr. Zhivago, actually. But the music, the central theme, this great sweeping desert theme, absolutely incredible. Peter O'Toole in the lead role it says introducing at the film. I can't believe it's his first, but if it is, what a role. I don't know if he won the Oscar. Doesn't say. Probably should know that sort of thing. But it was worthy. He's excellent. A blue crystal cinematography, giving his blue eyes just an amazing starkness in the desert. Omar Sharif, who is also in Dr. Zhivago, who is Dr. Zhivago, he's in this. He's brilliant, man. His eyes just burning with fury and passion when he's shouting for Lawrence. There's a scene when they come through the desert and they've left a man behind, and Lawrence goes back. It's really just, you can really feel what the desert would be like. Really, really harsh. So anyway, that's what it's about. It's brilliant. It's 218 minutes long, which is 3 hours 38 to you and me. So settle a Sunday afternoon, but this is in my 30s of the best ever films ever made. So it's worth a look. Set out a Sunday afternoon, watch it. Next one is this, Bridge on the River Kwai. Sorry if this is going on a bit long. This is Bridge on the River Kwai, starring Alec Guinness, obviously directed by David Lean again. Alec Guinness and William Holden and Jack Hawkins. And Jack Hawkins isn't on the front here, but he should be. This is really, really brilliant, about prisoners in a Japanese prisoner of war camp building a bridge across the River Kwai, which is hence the name. Guinness is amazing. He plays Lieutenant Colonel Nicholson, sorry. And he is a maniac for the rules of war. He's pitted against what's his name? Setsu Hayakawa, who is the commander of the Japanese camp, and the scenes between them are fucking brilliant. They're really epic. They're really man against man, ideology against ideology. Brilliant. Setsu Hayakawa was made to cry by David Lean in certain scenes, and you can see the passion. It's brilliant. The acting is amazing. William Holden's plays the kind of free liver man, like he's the American man. So he's the man who's against all this authority and rigid rule stuff and not cricket. So he plays that role. It's excellent. This is really in my top 20. It's just amazing. The Doctor, who I can't remember the name, he is James Donald. The Doctor is amazing, casting a kind of viewer's eye on the insanity. He's got a very important role. He's looking at, he's our man. He's the middleman looking at the insanity and casting a proper eye over it. And Jack Hawkins plays the commander who has to go out to blow up the bridge. And he's kind of a maniac as well. He has a stench of death about him, as William Holden says. It's excellent. It's only 2.5 hours long. Definitely watch it. This is really good. By the way, I was in a queue to watch this at the London Film Festival a couple of years ago. And Mike Lee, I was behind, and he said this was David Lean's last good film because Lawrence Arabia was a load of rubbish. This is Mike Lee. He hasn't done anything that David Lean's done, so he should shut up. Cheers.